How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Stripes and Strings podcast, and it's a very special episode for a couple of reasons. Number one, Buck Fuffalo is here.
Oh, yeah.
And number two, we have our first sponsor, Pancake House Lubbock. It's Lubbock's original pancake house, man. It's been around for a long time, established in 1961. The address is 510 Avenue Q at Mac Davison Avenue Q here in Lubbock. And let me tell you, man, I'm a food snob. If you've listened to this podcast before, you know that for a skinny dude, I really think with my gut quite a bit. And there's nothing better in the morning than going to Pancake House, get some hash browns, getting some eggs, getting some coffee. The wait staff is awesome. They're always good with their time. It's just, they're very punctual on getting people in, and you always count on the quality of the food. And just don't forget to check them out. Their phone number is 806-765-8506. And don't forget to say hello to Mama Sally down there. And don't forget to tip your waitresses and staff and what all. But, Pancake House Lubbock. Check them out, guys. Anyway, so like I said, Buck Fuffalo is here.
What's up?
And he's made the long trek from Stephenville today.
That's right.
Did you drive up today? Or?
Yeah. I was gonna try to come, but yesterday and hang out and stuff. But I got family and stuff too, so all that craziness. But
yep, that definitely limits your amount of time you can just out and run and go and do things.
Yeah. You gotta play dad and stuff like that. It's
Absolutely.
Fun. It's fun. So. Well, so you're talking about like the middle of the morning when you eat your pancakes, or what? I mean, you go out like at in the morning, literally at 8 in the morning to go eat your breakfast there? Or,
if I'm alive at 8 o'clock in the morning, usually, I don't really get the chance to eat out much during the week just because, I'd also have, my 9 to 5 priorities as well. And so, I get up and get going. I usually don't have time to even eat in the mornings, but in the weekends, it's like, man, I've got some money in my pocket.
Right on, yeah.
I'm going to go have a cup of coffee and some eggs. And so, and there's nothing better. And it's clear the other side of town for me. Like they're on the northeast side of town, and
they're 24 hours though, right?
No, they're only open. I don't know what time they open, honestly, which makes me sound really bad. I know they're open really flipping early. There's a picture of Dalton Domino on there at 5 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
So I know they're definitely
diner.
there for the early crowd and everything as well, but they close down at 2.
Okay.
And so
it's
great for their servers, and the staff there, because if they, have another job or, picking kids up from school or their students, that's a great opportunity to give them a chance to continue on throughout the day.
There's a little place in Stephenville that's open 24 hours. So, yeah, I mean, everything closes at midnight in Stephenville. So if you go to Peacocks or whatever, they got like the corn nuggets and the broccoli balls and all this weird stuff.
Broccoli balls? That actually sounds pretty awesome. Is it like fried broccoli?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's crazy. So and I was like, I didn't even know broccoli had balls, but
way to make healthy awesome.
Oh yeah, or unhealthy. It's like all fried, so bad for you.
That's
pretty
all
much.
good. I didn't know how.
But it's green, so it comes out.
Good, man. I like that one.
It's crazy crap, but whatever. It's that midnight kind of place to go.
And you
get
said it's called Peacocks?
Yeah, Peacocks is pretty cool.
I've been to Stephenville a few times. I don't think, where's it at in town? I haven't seen
it.
They
got 2, but one of them's on the loop over near like Bull Nettle and stuff. Have you been over there? Yeah. So a lot of times people are hitting that up after partying and whatever. So it's crazy that you go in there and you see the cops in there too, chilling. It's like, all right,
Yeah, that's always a weird feeling.
Hopefully, I'm not gonna go ahead and do a sobriety test out in the parking lot or whatever. But
man, that's always a fear. Like you there's a gas station here that's on my way home from Blue Light, and sometimes I've got to stop and get cigarettes. Sometimes I got to stop and get gas. Sometimes I really need a burrito.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but there's certain days of the week, and I've got to memorize. I know what days they are, and if there's any police officers listening, I'm not giving you away. But there's about 6 or 7 of them that I'll hang out at the Stripes and have coffee right there, and then wait for everybody to come home on the way to the bar, and
there they go.
I've seen it happen 100 times, man.
Well, I mean, I don't get as crazy as I used to, but back in the day, I was always like, oh my gosh, I'm so crazy. I can't believe I didn't go to jail. But nowadays, it's no big deal. I'm kind of used to that crap. But when the cops, when I see them, still, even like during the day, whatever, on the way here, I saw a few. It's like seeing a wasp, to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, just be cool. Nothing will happen.
But and I don't think that's right, man.
I know. Hell, they do a crazy job, and I mean, not many people are willing to do that stuff anyway.
No, you're right. It is a crazy job, but from the other side of things, like I don't know. I think the job title and everything for a policeman, like the requirements and everything, is not honestly a human capable job. It's not anything against a single person. It's not. But you expect somebody to be completely 100% unbiased all the time.
Sure, yeah.
and uphold every single law, know the law. You pretty much have to have a degree in law to make sure you're not breaking a law.
Sure. Yeah.
And to still remain a non-judgmental person and not become eventually hardened or prejudiced or just bitter about your job, and not just learn to hate people. I've worked in customer service and in PR and stuff, and I was a really nice person, and then I got to where I just hated people, just because I had to be in contact with that level of people,
Sure.
and so I can. It has to do something to you eventually.
It's the classic becoming a cynic the older you get, you kind of like, oh, I'm so used to seeing people this certain way. And yeah, I mean, being a police officer, it's a thankless job really too. And, a lot of times you feel like if you've ever had to deal with them on the other side, you're going, what? I'm a good person, right? And yet I'm having to deal with, being in trouble, and which again hadn't happened on a regular basis, but, when it did happen,
sure we've all had to spend a night in county.
I've had a night in jail one time, and it's pretty embarrassing and all that crap. But that was a long time ago, so it wasn't anything violent, or it was like actually had a warrant for writing a hot check, so wasn't anything even like alcohol related or anything like that either. So yeah, it was weird. But
yeah, I've had a few run-ins with the law. I'm not gonna say what they are, but the same thing. I'm a good person. I'm not a violent criminal. I'm not anything. We all get drunk and do stupid shit eventually, and things like that. So it happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But like you said, it is kind of like seeing a wasp. You know what I mean? It's you don't red, white, and blue means freedom until it's flashing in your rear view. You know
right?
I mean?
Yeah, that's true. It feels like, oh, okay, this is it. Freedom's over today. But
the fact that there's quotas in place with some police departments, and I don't know if it's nationwide. I have some friends that are police officers, and a couple of them have been like, well, my department doesn't have quotas, and somebody's like, well, mine does. So I don't know. But the fact that if somebody does not meet a quota, it docks their, performance sheet. You know what I mean? And so, I guess that makes sense to an extent.
Sometimes it feels like they're looking for...
Going 2 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour over the speed limit shouldn't cost somebody money, whereas there's, somebody at home beating his wife or something.
Oh, yeah.
And that person's not, getting fined or whatever. It's, police department should be there for protection, not revenue, collection.
Well, I know there's good cops out there. I'm not trying and I used to work for a juvenile prison
there's
too.
Some great cops.
Yeah, and but they are sometimes it's like they're seeking criminals. You know what I mean? Instead of going and dealing with actual things. But and I understand that's why there's all this crazy talk right now on the news about cops good or cops bad, and it's we just can't. And we just enjoy our lives. That's kind of how I look at it. But don't do anything wrong, and you don't have to worry about going to jail. You know what I mean? So,
well, but there's some very foolish laws in place with that. I'm not going to get into details or elaborate on it, but I believe that there's some things that definitely should not be illegal. That are illegal, especially when your body has, receptors in its brain and nervous system that, it's like a lock and a key, literally. Like these receptors are only for these certain, chemical compounds, whatever they may be.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Well, but, how far away are we from Colorado anyway?
Exactly. And New Mexico's not very far off either. And
they have the medical.
It's a medical state.
Okay. Yeah.
But still, man, if it's a medical state, people are a little more relaxed. And if you didn't know, it is completely legal to grow mushrooms in New Mexico. Completely 100% legal to grow them.
Yeah.
You step one step off your property with them in your pocket, you're screwed.
Oh, okay.
Or if anybody even leaves a donation on your counter or anything like that,
you're
screwed.
Gosh.
But just to grow them, it's not
kidding.
illegal at all.
Huh.
So it's kind of one of those laws. It's like, well, I can grow it, but I can't do anything with it. So it's just
we're just looking at it for art, just for let's say
scientific research purposes, man.
Yeah, it's so pretty, I just cannot grow it because whatever. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I had no idea about that.
It's kind of, but it's a funny little loophole like that because you can't really do anything.
Oh,
with it,
sure.
But it's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, there's tons of stuff like that. But yeah, man. Well, I didn't know we were gonna get into this podcast, man. You gotta
just kind of stepped right off here. But
right on.
So let's kind of do a lane change here. Tell us a little bit about your music, man. What got you started wanting to play and all that kind of stuff.
Well, kind of you get a guitar given to you and stuff, and you're kind of going through all kinds of weird crap and. It depends on how old you are. Maybe you just had an interest in it when you were a kid and stuff. But I got a guitar after I had all kinds of crazy stuff happen to me. Like when I was in high school, I had a car accident that was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had been care flighted to Fort Worth, and had to get knocked out for that. To use the jaws of life to get me out of my truck, and it was a major deal. Like right in the middle of high school, and I thought I was gonna be like this star athlete and stuff, and that changed everything because like it broke my pelvis, broke my femur, bashed both my knees, broke my ankle. You can see my scar on my elbow. So it was a major deal.
And you can still walk. I think I've seen you click your heels once.
Yeah, I can click my heels a few times. But I was actually in a wheelchair, though, for a while, too. I was in for several months, and then I had to do the walker and all this. But my guns got crazy huge,
Right.
I look like...
That's a lot of upper body strength.
Oh, yeah. I was like Stallone and over the top,
Very
Hey,
nice.
yo, look at this, just like... But so that happened, and it was really hard to get back on track. And then I went to live with my mom for a little bit, and I was like, after I nearly died, I'm like... And I still really have this, like, I'm going to experience the most I can out of this life, because... all this, you kind of everybody's like, you never know what's going to be over, that cliche, but then whenever you like see it in your face, you're like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, well, somebody told me one time, you can't help the cards you're dealt, but you can place your own bets.
Yeah.
And so,
Sure.
no matter your situation, it may not be, what seems ideal to you, but you
Right.
can either choose to continue to go or stay there or whatever, it's good to see that, you and I are having this conversation, and you didn't, let yourself get down then.
Well, and I'm sure everybody has moments where it's harder to look at life and feel good about it. And I mean, every day, some people have a sacrifice to decide: am I going to be depressed today, or am I going to decide I'm enjoying this life? And for some people, that's easier said than done.
Right.
But. So I had that car accident, and then I lived with my mom, and after I'm going to experience like what life's all about. Everything. I'm going to make friends with everybody and just really appreciate. And I still do that, but talking about the cards you're dealt, which ones you bet on or whatever. Like I had this big party for my birthday, invited everybody over, and two of my buddies ended up like they wanted to break into the school and me go with them.
Right.
To They got on Anarchy's cookbook. You ever heard of that thing? So they were gonna try to make a bomb. Well, they were trying to make meth, is what they were doing.
Right.
And then they
They're like,
figured
well,
out that's way too hard.
In school.
No. Like they were just like, oh my God, that's impossible. So luckily, I never did any of that crap. I just never had an interest really in doing. But I've been offered a few times, of course. But
right.
And hell, you're from New Mexico, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's
it's crazy.
I've seen it often, and
Yeah.
Like I said, we've all, done stupid things and all, but it's not, like I said, it's nothing that really appeals to me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If I want to have a little jolt and do something, I mean, they sell Red Bull, man.
Yeah.
It's
Monster's mine. I got, and they do the stupid 2 can for $4 or something. I'm like, man,
that's
you
how
bastards.
they get you.
Oh, I know.
Because you buy 2 cans and then you drink one, and the other before the other one gets hot, you want to drink.
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah. Dude, does it not have the worst smell though? When you leave even an empty can, you get back in your truck and it stinks to me like a whole thing.
I don't think it really smells that bad because there's another place here in town I go. It's called Ula Lattes, and I'll swing by there.
Okay.
And I'll swing by there and get a drink once in a while, and it's a drive-through coffee shop, and all the girls that work there are good-looking college-age bikini-clad coffee chicks.
Sounds terrible.
I know, absolutely, man. I go because I have to.
Oh yeah.
But they make this thing that's called the Hulk, and it's that monster.
Okay.
Lime sherbet, peaches, pineapples, and then I have them put mangoes in there, and they just make like a smoothie.
Damn.
And it's their. I mean, like if you look around my house right now, I can promise you there's probably 2, maybe 3, just empty ones somewhere around my house.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's pretty intense. I have to try that out. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Well, you're headed north, right? When you're going to Amarillo tonight, it's on your way.
Okay, all right.
You're gonna have.
I need to map it out. Yeah. Well, so anyway, like they were looking for how to get their own meth, and luckily I was like, man, that's stupid. But they found this way, like all these different things. You get on the internet now. You go down the wormhole of this, that, and especially YouTube's the worst. But
right.
So they're on there, and they're like, dude, we can make a little bomb out of a click pen and put it in the principal's desk. And I was like, hell no, I ain't going with y'all for that stupid shit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so like they left the party, my birthday party, so all of a sudden like we're getting called back like, hey, there's somebody broke into the freaking school. Well, so I won't say their names because in case they ever listen, one of the guys has actually really changed his life. He's a Baptist minister and stuff now.
Nice.
So yeah, but they broke into the school, set it on fire, and it was crazy, man. And so, I mean, the ATF is coming, and they interview everybody, and my mom got in trouble with all this stuff, and so after all that, it became really difficult, and to everybody just hated us, and it was my party and stuff. So, and I still feel bad about how all that happened, and so anyway, I moved back with my dad, and I lost my girlfriend that I had for a year, which I'm actually married to now. So it's kind of
congratulations.
Thanks.
To that.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But so anyway, so I went through this whole deal where I'm depressed, and that's when I got my guitar. And I'm not a great musician. I started pretty late, compared to a lot of people. And but I found out I have a real knack for songwriting, and I go to parties and I could make up a song on the spot about somebody, hey, who's this? He's taking a shower and he says I'm gotta piss, and stupid shit like that. And it would just be jokes, really, just kind of being funny. Right. And
but that's still an art form.
Oh, and so I never really felt like, well, it's funny, and so maybe it's an art form, I guess. But I made up songs about having sex with this doll and stuff, and
why not? Right?
It's a classic. Everybody that has heard it, they want me to sing it, but I try not to do it in public because it's very offensive, and yeah. And so, but anyway, so I didn't really think anything more than I'm just the party guy that's singing songs that are funny. And but I went to one of my buddies from college. He got married, and he had a reception, and they'd hired Daryl Dodd to play. And Daryl was up there doing his stuff, and kind of chilling and talking. And somebody's like, "Hey, go play one of your songs, man." So I played "Everybody in Nashville Sings Like a Bitch," and and I don't know if you heard, were you at Larry Joe Taylor? I thought I remember meeting you
very, very, very briefly.
Okay,
half a day, but okay. I will be there every day this year.
Oh yeah. So. Oh man, get ready. It's fun.
Oh, I'm already prepared.
I think when you go, you don't get any sleep. You miss a band or two because you're gonna go crash in an RV somewhere. But
bring a stack of wet wipes because you're not gonna pay that much to stand in line for a shower.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to take. You're gonna need a survival kit. They should be an
wet
instructable.
Wipes and a hair tie.
Yeah, man. But you're a musician too, so you take your guitar, and there's rowdy crap that goes on, in the camping section and all that.
Radio Row's pretty safe, though.
But Radio Row's safe, and it's more fun, I think, because you don't have to worry
that's
about.
Where everybody hangs out anyway.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. And that's what's cool. I played that song, and you got 200 people who've never heard it before, and they're freaking singing along with you. Everyone in Nashville sings like a bitch. It's like, oh man, this is make your hair stand up when people are into it. And so, anyway, Daryl was like, man, he loved that song, and he was way cool about it. And I don't really know him very well, but I just met him that night. So he really encouraged me. He's like, no, dude, you need to actually go play. And so I started doing shows here and there, and it just it's picked up. I'm still not a great musician or anything, but I can entertain people and stuff. So
that's a huge aspect of it, is entertaining. You can sit there and play anything all day, every day. If you don't make a show out of it, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's one reason that folks like Metallica and Motley Crue and Garth Brooks, these people have made have done so well with these live shows, is because it's a production.
Sure.
In which not saying that you need to have pyrotechnics and strippers and everything.
Well, that would be cool.
Not saying that wouldn't be cool, but you have to bring an energy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean? And
I don't know if you saw in my pickup in my passenger seat, I got Brazza Slim with me. It's my skeleton that I take with me. He's my ride or die guy. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see him. I have to check him out here soon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, I always take that, hopefully people kind of know. You hear Buck Fuffalo, all right, I'm going to say some things that maybe aren't always said. Of course, I do play restaurants too, in case there's any, barbecue joints. I can clean it up and all that stuff. But it's still kind of hopefully you know what you're going to get, and you kind of have, I want to make sure people enjoy it and have fun. So,
well, I like that your stuff's a little more, raunchy, or a little more raw, I should say, you know what I mean?
I have some raunchy ones, but I try not to, it depends on where I'm playing and the night and how it's going. I can tell what I can get away with, but yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, you play Blue Light, you bring and play the dirtiest stuff you got. We'll love it.
All right. Awesome. Can't wait. Yeah, Dalton. I did a little show with him in Stephenville one time, Dalton Domino, and I sang this one. I'm so glad it's a podcast. I can say what I want on here.
Right.
But it was "Don't Be a Pussy," and man, he was like, "Man, that's hilarious. We need to play that at the Blue Light." Man, it's just been. I hadn't had a chance to get up here and book it or anything yet, but hopefully, doing more stuff out this direction I can. But
absolutely,
anyway,
man.
yeah. It's always cool when a fellow musician's like into your shit. It helps a lot. So.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to just get to go and see all the different acts, see what everybody's got
Definitely.
going on. You know what I mean? It's from I don't see myself as a great musician. I'm really not, but I play. I know what. So, but just to get to see everybody else do it, it's like, man, these guys play and sing and do circles around me, like just, and it's incredible. It's inspiring to see. And,
sure, definitely.
And when other people dig your stuff, like every once and again, I'll get a wild hair on my ass and go play a Monday.
Yeah.
And somebody will be like, hey, man, you did good. You know what I mean? And it's like.
Yeah, it feels good.
Some random dude says that's fine, thanks, man. But somebody else that's gonna play later has already played. Comes up and it's like, hey, man, I like that. That was good. Like
right.
That's a bigger boost of confidence.
Well, there's two ththings. One, when it's not your friends, you go out to some town you never been to,
right?
And then people are coming up afterwards
like, hey, man, that's great.
Man, that was awesome. Or you sing well. You should do that as a career. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that, but or then especially whenever it's a musician, then you're like, well, all right, cool, because that was another thing that I was so hesitant about. I worked for the college radio station at Tarleton, and it was right when it first opened. Man, it was a blast. Man, you're getting like tickets to shows, tickets to South by Southwest, and you're meeting all these musicians, and we're doing a morning show, and it was a blast, man. We're having, the whole campus knows who you are and stuff. It's pretty fun.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and so. But you met Luke Wade back, if you remember, he was on The Voice and stuff.
Yeah, no, I met him before he went into The Voice.
Oh, yeah, cool. So, yeah, super nice guy, And then you got, like, John Young. I think you met him before. And,
yeah, John stayed out here with us.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, he told me about it, so I kind of knew what to expect and stuff, But
nice.
It's cool. John freaking badass, you know what I mean? So you start meeting all these people, and that's me, like, being the goofy clown kind of stuff I like to jack with. I'm like, man, I don't... Like, these guys are serious. And so, sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should do just comedy or whatever. But I really come up with songs, too, that I'm like, well, I need to play that song.
Right, like that's got some heart behind it.
Yeah.
That's,
And I've really so I have like almost like this dual show, really. But I mix it in well enough, I think, now. So, you hear it, you're kind of like, man, that was fun, and then it's like, damn, where the hell did that come from? That's kind of what I want to flip people on their
But
ear a
that's
little
good,
bit.
man, that you've got such an up and down dynamic, you know what I mean? That you can go from, laughing comedy, everyone in Nashville sings like a bitch, to you write a song that's going to make somebody think about a chapter in their life or something, you know what I mean?
That's I don't know, I'm having fun kind of seeing that in the crowd too. And sometimes like I sing like the Buddy song. One time I was told just to do comedy, right? And so I went and this was like just a few weeks ago at a Super Bowl kickoff party. I was doing like just the intro, and they hired me. They said, do all your raunchy ones, man. They're going to love it.
Right.
And so, man, I had this woman. I thought she was going to kill me. Like, I was just singing about, this part about the song is like having sex with a fat girl and stuff. And it's like, she was just a large woman.
Right.
And
so
she was very
I'm sure
offended.
She took offense
oh,
to
yeah.
this.
I was like, hey, I'm sorry it's close to home, but, and I won't go into it because it is very graphic, but I want you to get the shock if you never heard that song. Anyway, so she, when you see John or Luke play and you do stuff like that could piss some people off, I'm like, I don't know. It took me a while to get started, kind of.
Right.
I was really a little self-conscious sometimes when I try to do a serious one, and then but you finally get to know all these people, and some people try to do the competitions and singer-songwriter stuff, and I went to do one at the ranch up in Fort Worth. They had a little picking party, and I'm driving out there to go do it, and on the way out there, I had a blowout on the front of my car, driver's side too. So I'm like having to hold on tight, and I'm changing. I got black shit all over me and all this, and I'm
Did you
like,
make it?
Yeah, I made it. So I had a dude pull over, and I'm like, you don't have to stop, man. He's like, no, make sure you're all right. And so I just decided, I was like, okay, is this worth it for me to do this? I've changed my tire. I'm flat. I could have turned around and gone back. And I decided to go, and I got runner up there.
Awesome.
But yeah, but it was like a it was like a whole weekly thing. So it would have been cool if I could have won, because then you get to go play at the Capitol Bar in Fort Worth and open. And I think William Clark Green was the guy you got to open for and shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it would have been way cool. But part of it, you start meeting all these other musicians. Yeah, competitions are weird, and the odds are you're not going to win them.
Right. Well, competitions are an odd aspect.
It's really strange. It really is. I mean, I don't care for them, but I do kind of care for them, because you can meet so many other musicians.
Yeah, for the networking and showcase aspect, competitions are great.
Yeah. The first time if any new people are listening to this stuff, like trying to decide what you should do with your music, like that's a good way to develop and kind of. One time I played a song, and there was this other guy there, and he was like, "Man, that sounds like something. That sounds like another song." So I'm like, "Well, hell, I need to change it up a little bit."
Mm-hmm.
And then, I was talking. I was like, "Man, I didn't realize it sounded like so and so with this song." He's like, "No, man, this is cool. Like, it's okay. There's only so many ways to make a sandwich, And so, so I started being more comfortable. Okay, well, maybe I can't shred a guitar or anything, but so I'm just kind of doing it and having fun with it and whatever,
Man, at least you're having fun with it, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, I'm still out here playing music. I'm still out here writing songs because, maybe this is all I know how to do, or this is what's expected of me, or I'm good at this, but I've just kind of, you get burned. It doesn't matter what you do. Eventually you're going to get burned out. You need a break.
Yeah.
There's some people don't put out a new album every year, or tour all year long, because you need a break. You need some time at home. You need some time to level stuff out. So
yeah. Well, I'm pretty good at juggling, and really I wasn't trying to book too much, because I've got a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
I got a wife and family. I got 2 kids, and I'm coaching baseball. I got 2 teams. It's like, and then I'm doing music. So it's
your
kind of
plate's like super full.
Oh yeah, it's super full. And so, but everything allows me to have okay, I need a little break from this, or I need oh man, work's been crazy hard on me. So. But then you pick up a guitar, you got music. It's like, well, you're never alone. You always got an outlet,
mm-hmm.
In a way, and so and then okay, yeah. I mean, sometimes you get irritated with the old lady and stuff, and you got to have a break from that, and that's having people around you. I mean, that's the biggest inspiration too. You come up with songs like, what the hell? I didn't know I was going to do that today, but
yeah.
So, but. Yeah, it's hard to not get burned out. There's times where you got 3 or 4 shows and you're driving. I came a long way to do this one, and
mm-hmm.
I've got one in Austin on Monday. And
geez, so you're gonna finish in Amarillo tonight and drive to Austin tomorrow?
I don't know what's going on yet, but talk to you a little bit. It's so crazy, small world, because you know my dad.
Yeah, I had no idea I knew your dad.
Yeah.
So you got here and you're like, my dad, and I was like, I might, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a small world, but I guess it's wild. But so I think I need to go see him and stuff, because
mm-hmm.
He's not doing good, and I hope he's all right. And so if you're the praying type, that'd be cool.
Absolutely, man.
So, but anyway, I'm trying not to get emotional in the middle of Kick-Ass Podcast and all that stuff. But hey, I want to ask you, what's the name why'd you choose your name for this podcast?
Oh, the Stripes and Strings podcast. Well, I don't know, man. I really got to thinking about it, and I was like, man, I couldn't come up with a name. The podcast has been a brainchild for a few months. Just like, man, I'm gonna do this, man, and then I keep thinking more seriously and more seriously about it. And then finally, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna jump in and do this podcast. Yeah. And but I was like, Stripes, everybody's got their stripes, either from the road or from the the inspiration to make them write their music. Or whatever. Everybody carries around some form of a stripe. Even if it's a stripe on your shirt, still got a stripe, right?
Right.
And guitar strings. And I was like, well, Stripes and Strings has a pretty cool
sounds
ring.
good,
I don't know. I figure as it continues to grow, it will, I don't know. The name will have more secondhand relevancy or something. But it was just catchy at the time. So I'm running with it. Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
My friend Kyle helped me do it, or Kyle actually did the logo. He just was like, hey man,
yeah, it looks good. I like.
He was like, just tell me kind of what you want to do for a logo, and half of that was just, well, I could put this here. What do you think? I could put this here. What do you think? I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so it's all worked out pretty well so far with the name and getting the logo done, and still trying to get a website, still trying to figure out what an RSS is and how to make my podcast one of those so that I can put it on iTunes.
Yeah. Some sort of news feed. We can go into it later. This is boring stuff on the podcast, but
yeah, and I wouldn't understand it. I'm like that uncomputer savvy. I have to really dig into how I'm doing things to get this running.
I'll take a look at your stuff later on, because you kind of. I've always wanted to do a podcast too, man. I'm so glad you're doing it because I'm like, I've looked online before you go to iTunes and stuff, and I guess you're not on it yet, but I don't think it's gonna be that difficult once you get it formatted correctly.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to get it on that format, and then I've got to. It's got to go, I guess, in front of a board or something. Like I have to send it off. It has to be approved. I guess they have to make sure I'm not like ISIS or the Aryan Brotherhood or something like that. Just out there preaching hate or something.
We are the stripes and strings. We must do this. Yes.
Right. the America.
Oh,
no,
man.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, that would be bad. I think that it'll pick up. Like, it's cool. You already got a sponsor before you're even like on iTunes and things. But
yeah, it was a huge fangirl moment, and I went into Pancake. I dropped off a sponsorship sheet at Pancake House a couple of weeks ago when I went in there and had breakfast, and was like, y'all just take a look at this, and it happens, it doesn't, y'all just hold on to it. I've got a few of these printed out, and I've only given like 3 of those sheets out.
Oh, cool.
Because I don't want to have a sponsor that is just a random nobody, and I don't mean that bad, but like I want businesses that I personally support.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge, I would tell you to go eat at the Pancake House whether they were my sponsor or not, because it's legit stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So and I've done that with a couple other businesses. Like, look, I'm genuinely interested in your service or your product or whatever, and I would like to help you advertise with you or whatever. Yeah. But
well, no, it's gonna be cool though. I mean, once all that gets going, you got it bigger. I'm gonna want a T-shirt. And,
absolutely.
Koozie,
Yeah, no, I'm getting my income tax return in. I'm getting some new hardware, and I'm gonna get T-shirts. Gonna get a website.
Yeah.
So that's income taxes. Building a business this year.
That's nice. Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, I had to use mine for all kinds of things. Every year I'm like, I'm gonna pay off some more debt. I'm gonna pay off more debt and all that. And then like I went to I just got a 12-string guitar.
Oh, nice. What kind?
An Ibanez. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's cool.
The Ibanezes sound great.
I like it. I mean, when I first was taught guitar, that guy my mom dated, he had a 12-string, and I hadn't played one in years, and he passed away and all this stuff, and so I never had another chance, and I kept like, man, I really want one, and I got my income tax check, and I was like, all right, I got a little money,
right? And
dude, I found one. There's this place in Austin called Straight Music. It's pretty kick-ass, and they're way cool. Everybody in there is like, some places you go to and they want to like, they'll pick up a guitar and like do some crazy lick right in front of you and like, hey, what are you looking for, man? And like try to sell you and make you feel like an idiot. And so, like some places like that. But I go in there and they got that 12-string, and I was like, man, I want it, but it's too much. And so I looked online, got one on Craigslist. I was like,
man, Craigslist has saved me.
Well, that's what I thought, man. I was like, kick ass. All right, I got it on. But I go to play. I played the chords, bar chords, no big deal.
Yeah.
Sounded fine. Then I got it in Austin. I drove back to Stephenville, and I'm playing some little riffs and little leads down in like the 11th and 13th fret. Every single string is dead. King, king, king. I was like, what the fuck? So, I was like, oh my God. So I called John Young. I'm like, hey man, what the hell I didn't play it down here. Yeah. And he's like, oh, your neck's probably bent, dude. It's like, oh man. And so I'm looking online. I called that guy back. I'm like, hey, dude, your guitar is like crappy. Well, that's how I like to play it. I'm like,
you like to play it with
he's like, well, I just had it as a collector's item. It's a red wood. It's this red maple. It's beautiful. And he ordered it from
Europe.
Europe.
Had it sitting in a corner for a long time, and that'll cause that.
So,
a lot of times.
Well, it was like I took it to the Straight Music place, and the guy's like, man, it could be busted, bad. You never fix it,
right?
Because the neck could be bent, and that could be like $150 for me to try to fix. It could file down so he just raised the bridge on it for $30, and it freaking worked. So,
nice.
Oh man, I'm so happy. But yeah, the guy was like that sold it to me. He was like, dude, this is Craigslist. You can't bring it back. These store,
Man,
it was messed up.
Shitty. I bought a fridge off Craigslist for $20, and that's my positive Craigslist experience.
Yeah.
But man, that sucks, man. I don't know. I know a lot of people that are like, if you're gonna get an instrument, man, just go get you a good used one. This and that. And I'm all for buying used instruments.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna buy an instrument from somebody, like I would buy a guitar or a bass or something from you, because
Yeah.
I know you take care of your instruments. I know who's had it. I know how they treat their
Right.
things. You know what I mean? I would buy with something from Dalton or from John or from Brandon Adams. You know, whoever.
Yeah.
But Blow Joe on Craigslist, I'm looking this bitch up and
Better
down.
be hesitant,
I'm
yeah.
calling. So I know people that work at Guitar Center and be like, hey man, look,
Yeah.
this dude's trying to charge me this for this. Like this is the shape I think it looks in. Be like that Pawn Star dude. I know somebody, an expert. Let me call him in and have him take a look at this.
Yeah. I got a buddy that works at a pawn shop, and he was telling me they get all kinds of weird shit. Pawn shops, you never know with the music, pedals, they can probably fuzzy and all this.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like they bring in weird stuff. Like when they need money down in Austin, this one guy, he brought in his freaking grill, like his gold teeth.
You're gonna bring his gold teeth to a pawn shop?
Yeah, and they
Why
took
don't you
it.
take that shit to cash for gold?
I wanted it back. You pawn it, you get your money back.
Right.
You do so. Yeah, I don't think you can get it back once you pawn it for gold. But yeah, so he used it. And now you got to pay interest on your own damn teeth and stuff. So.
Yeah, 'cause you wind up charging. Man, I don't.
That crazy?
That is crazy. I mean, I understand. I've had to take some things to a pawn shop just because I'm like broke as fuck, and I know I'm getting paid in a couple of days, and screw it, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have a gold tooth. It's not removable. It's not removable.
Oh,
but
okay.
I have a gold tooth.
You can't pull the cap off of it?
No, I can't. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not. No,
Don't do it.
Not today.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could ever put that in a pawn shop for gas money.
Well, wait till you go to Vegas. Have a hangover. We'll do it.
Vegas is going to be the death of me. If I ever go to Vegas, it's not.
Better come back with a face tattoo or something.
No, I don't know about a face tattoo.
No,
Maybe
you're
a
right.
stripper wife.
Oh, there you go.
But I'm not so sure about a face tattoo. I want a few more tattoos, but I don't think.
No,
I want
yeah,
one on my
you're
face.
right. I wouldn't want one on my face either, because it's gonna go out of style at some point. At least.
Yeah, and people look. I mean, I'm all for tattoos.
Sure.
You see that stuff on social media all the time. People, it's that one. I know you've seen it. It's the same damn post, and it shows like half of a person's face, and they've got like crazy spiked tattoos, hair tattoos, and a big gauge. And it's like I support. Dyed hair tattoos and earrings and piercings in the workplace or whatever. I know you've seen that on Facebook.
Yeah.
I haven't shared it, although I do support that kind of stuff. But my philosophy on that is like, I don't know, man. If you want to get a tattoo on your face or your neck or your bottom lip, back of your head, but it's cool, man. It's all for
it's
you.
your thing.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
But you're putting it where people are going to look at it. So number one, don't be weird if somebody's like staring you down.
Exactly.
I'm not staring at you because you're weird. I'm staring because it's
Right.
not something you see every day.
Sure. Yeah,
So-
it's like I get what you're saying. Like,
And I don't want to be
basically-
able to throw a green bean from across the dining room through the hole in your ear.
yeah. I mean, at some point, I would think you're gonna take the hoops out. They're gonna look like the Aborigine people or something with the big.
Well, the
giant-
only way you can fix that is
Clip it.
Yeah, they cut that.
Yeah,
I don't know, however many inches of skin you have hanging off the bottom now, and then they just stitch that shit back up.
Yeah.
And you have a really shitty scar.
Oh yeah.
And no, man.
Well, I do. It's weird when people act like they're offended because you chose to put like all these hooks in your face. I'm like, I don't. You know what I mean? Or you get the tattoo.
Well, I mean,
I'm like,
they don't
sorry.
offend me at all. They're just not anything I understand either.
I'm not offended by it, but I do want to like get an extra second to look. I'm like,
Right,
and then they'll act like, "What are you looking at, man?" I'm like,
I'm looking at the
your
looking at the
face,
hole in your
literally.
face because it's something that I don't have and it intrigues me.
Yeah.
I'm not looking judgmental.
You're a piece of art, my friend.
Exactly. Tattoos are art. It's
Yeah.
I'm staring for inquisition versus judgment.
Well, I used to have my nipples pierced, man. I went to spring break in Florida, and that was pretty cool. Like after you did it.
That had to have been excruciating.
Oh, it hurt. It hurt like hell, So like it, freaking bled, and you're not supposed to do it when you're drinking, but I was down there for spring break, man.
break,
So
of
I was
course.
like, yeah, they did it anyway. So I'm like bleeding everywhere, but it was definitely like, I don't know, it was a cool way to meet some girls and stuff, I guess, back then and all
Right.
that. So, but anyway. I didn't know we were going to get into that, but anyway, I took them out because one time the phone rang and I had an oscillating fan that were moving back and forth, and
Right.
so I heard the phone ring. I was like thinking I had a job or some crap. I run by with my shirt off. I was taking a nap, and the freaking hook caught on the freaking fan,
Oh,
and it's like,
no.
whoa! It threw me over, like
Did it pull it out?
It didn't pull it out,
Ugh.
but it bled and bled, and I was like, man, this is stupid. And like I think I was married then too, so I was like, I don't need this anymore.
Right.
But I had a girlfriend that had them too, and they would get like hooked up together, and so that was painful. It
I
wasn't
could
like-
imagine that being
Yeah.
painful. I don't know. I've got one nipple story or nipple ring story, I
Okay.
should say.
Yeah.
There's a I used to live with a bunch of my friends when when I was in high school and just out of high school.
Yeah.
I lived on a friend of mine's couch, and then I had a room in their house for a little while.
Yeah.
And but it was two brothers, and I'm not going to name them off, but if y'all know me in my personal life, you know who I'm talking about. But they were just arguing back and forth, and they're older brother, little brother, and the older brother had his nipples pierced.
Oh yeah.
And younger brothers, they both cowboy anyway, so
right.
Came in and had boots and spurs on, and actually literally just got done unsaddling horses and feeding and everything.
Yeah.
And they got into a knockdown drag out in the middle of the living room.
What the hell for?
Brother shit.
Oh, okay.
Somebody smoked somebody else's something or drank the last beer or
sure.
to that effect.
Totally brothers, yeah.
And so, there was this whole back and forth argument, and so it starts coming to blows in the middle of the living room, and Charlie, the older brother, didn't have his shirt on. Well, somehow in the midst of this, one of those spur owls caught his nipple ring, and we just heard this go, bink, and then something bounced on the linoleum in the kitchen.
Oh.
And Charlie is just rolling, clutching his chest. Yeah, it caught that spur ring and sent it across the living room.
That's not good.
Yep, I kind of at the same time I was kind of thinking like, man, I might be able to do that. And at the same time, I was like, I'm single, girls, nipple rings. I was a lot better physique at the time.
Yeah, me too. I'm like too many Allsup's burritos.
I'm not enough Allsup's burritos. But I was like, man, I could rock this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After I saw that, it was like, no. I fight too much and do too much stupid stuff. It's an oscillating fan might get it.
Yeah, you don't want to do. Yeah, it's there. You never know how dangerous those things are anyway.
Yeah. So what are some of your biggest influences, musically? And we haven't really got to get much into the music yet.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because I like this is the whole reason of the podcast.
That's why
the one-on-one bullshit aspect of this.
Yeah, when you said I saw you posting before you got going, you were doing a podcast. I was like, man, hell yes! Like I was saying, I search for them. I want to hear I want to hear the background story. I want to know why this, why that, like on specific songs and nobody's really doing a Texas music scene really. I mean, if they are, they aren't advertising very well or something.
Well, I'm not advertising very well either. I'm trying. That's all word of mouth right
started,
now.
In a way, it's like, to me, I feel like this is like whenever Jimmy Fallon interviewed, before they do their shows, the whole week worth of like interviews and fake shows. So this is like practice for you. And, hey, maybe people are listening. That's cool. But right now, you kind of like getting your feet wet and figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, no, if this blows into something else,
I hope so.
Completely awesome. I want to do this podcast until people quit listening.
Yeah, no, that's the way to look at it.
If it's 6 months from now, if it's 60 years from now, and I'm still breathing, let's do it.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I'm talking about like the background and all this stuff. So my influences, man, I listen to everything. I remember there was a post the other day like, what was the first album you ever bought or something like that? And I remember that movie Stand By Me. You remember that movie?
Who was in it?
Well, it was a bunch of kids. They were like, one of them was River Phoenix, which was Joaquin Phoenix's
brother.
Yeah. And
older brother. He committed suicide, right?
No,
or overdosed or something.
Yeah, I think he overdosed and shit. And dude, that guy, he was a badass actor.
I know
like
what you're talking about now too.
Yeah, they want to go see The Dead Body.
Yeah.
That's a cool movie. I let my kids watch it, and I did not know how much cussing was in that movie.
You don't realize.
Yeah.
It.
I mean, I know I'm Buck Fuffalo, but I still got to like raise my kids the right way. So I'm not gonna but there was a shitload of cussing, whatever. So, but anyway, that movie has the best soundtrack of oldies. Like when I was a kid, and my mom bought me that tape. I mean, this was back when there was cassette tapes and shit.
Yeah,
yeah, it was cool. So I mean, like every song on there was cool. It was like Yakety Yak, Don't Talk Back, and then Stand By Me is like a classic song. That was the first song I ever learned to play on the guitar.
Awesome.
Yeah, which now I'm like, damn, I need to relearn that because I haven't played it in like 15 years.
That'd be a good one. That'd just be have a good one to keep in your arsenal.
I know, yeah. I need to go back and remember that one. But so anyway, yeah, I was like, okay, I mean, I don't know. I love oldie stuff, or I used to. Now they're all burned out. But classic rock, man, and it's like, I feel like Texas country has the wrong term, or red dirt or whatever they want to call it, like, or Americana now. I have a hard time knowing what to call myself. People are like, what kind of music you play? I'm like, well, I don't know. Really, like, I just play music and hope people like it. And like, so you kind of get influenced based on who you're hearing. So, but I feel like it sounds like classic rock a little bit now.
Kind of some folk and roll stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like a rockabilly kind of stuff, but it's all mixed together. And it's like, man, that's exactly what America is anyway. We're all mixed up, or Texas. Now it's all like emphasis here, but whatever. So, man, I really remember, first college and into college, like Adam Carroll. I like that. And, then you get older and you're like, you finally listen to Bob Dylan where actually you understand what the hell he's saying. Where it's not just like, oh, tambourine man, you know, whatever.
Right.
You know, it's like you finally like hear, you know, Don't Think Twice or the good ones, and you're like, oh man, I get it now. I get why people liked him so much. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, I really don't have a specific musical. I go through something where I'm like, I go through phases where I like this, I like that. And, you know, the Texas country guys or whatever you want to call them, I like Hayes Carl a lot, you know, Todd Snyder. A lot of people will be like, hey, man, you remind me of Todd Snyder a little bit because, you know, he sings silly stuff and occasionally. But, and then, I don't know, I like Adam Hood and stuff, you know, those kind of guys. I like, you know, the sound of what they're doing right now and stuff. And, but yeah, I mean, I think pretty much anybody you ask, they're going to be influenced by everything out there.
Absolutely.
You can't help it. I mean, I even do like this crazy cover of like Lord, Daft Punk with Pharrell and Lana Del Rey. And so it's like it's just a 3-song mashup, and I love doing it. And I have to edit it because it's the one where it's like wait till you're announced, you not yet lost all our graces, and then I go into lose yourself to dance, and then and then it goes into because at the end of that they're like come on, come on, come on, come on. So I transition that come on, baby, let's ride, and it's my pussy tastes like Pepsi Cola. So it's like totally in my wheelhouse, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fun to kind of twist that up a little bit. And I mean, I don't really like a lot of pop music, but you know, occasionally it's in your head. You'll hear it, you know, and you're like, "Damn
it's called pop for a reason. It pops out of nowhere.
Oh my god, it pisses me off, you know, because it's like, damn it, I'm singing it now. Shit.
I'm Taylor Swift is a good-looking gal, but
Oh, yeah.
I can't really stand much of her music. But that damn "Shake It Off" song, out of nowhere, I won't even have thought about that woman's boobs today.
Well,
you know,
she doesn't really
out of
have
nowhere,
boobs.
It'll just be like,
Yeah.
well, you know, it's quality, not quantity.
She's hot though.
Oh, she's
She's
hot.
definitely hot. And but yeah,
that song will pop up out of nowhere.
Blank
I can't
Space
get rid
is the
of
one
it.
that gets stuck in my head. I got a blank space. God dang it, I'll be singing that in the car later now. But yeah, it's weird. Like, well, you know, that's probably why they have like 4 producers, because they're like they have a formula. And it's
there has to be a math behind it, you know.
Oh, you know there is, and you know they do it this way. They sing about certain things. They look good, and so it's like all part of that big machine.
Image.
You know, it's the same with the friggin' Nashville country, and you know I sing everyone in Nashville sings like a bitch, but I know there's talented songwriters in Nashville. I mean, you know, kind of you do more shows and you meet people, and you're like, oh hell, you're from Nashville. I feel bad now I said that. And so I know there's great songwriters.
But I think the people from Nashville that hear that are like, you know, there are the people, the mainstream people here that
that's
sing
what I'm
like
hoping.
bitches.
Yeah, that's what I hope people get that reference and that joke, because I'm talking about the ones that are mass marketed and freaking, they're not musicians, it seems. You know, the whole
Florida Georgia Line, Brantley Gilbert, all those.
Well, and I know they write their own music apparently, right? I guess I read that.
I haven't even cared to look enough.
Well, the reason I did care to look is because, you know, the whole Charlie Robinson thing's going on right now.
Yeah, well, I saw that and I was like, man.
Did you read it?
Well, they
Charlie's?
lost great respect for Charlie Robinson. Charlie was like, how can you lose respect
You need
for
to
somebody
read.
that doesn't exist?
The reason it all started, the reason they said they lost respect for him is because you should read it. Check it out. Because like he posted this huge long thing. Apparently some marketing guy said if you're not on radio in country, you don't exist. Right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and so Charlie, man, he freaking went on this rant. It's badass, dude. I mean, I love it. I'm like,
I think I've read a little bit of it. I speed read a lot of things, and so I missed the gist of most of it.
Yeah, I'm real bad. I was the worst reader in school because I couldn't never do the speed reading thing, and I literally, I'm ADD, so I'll get caught up in like a word, and then I'll be in daydream land for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm supposed to read this paragraph. I can't even get through a paragraph. But anyway, so that's probably why you skimmed over it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, most of this stuff, I mean, I guess we're talking about influences still. I don't know. But I don't know. Where do you want to go now?
Who are some of the favorite musicians? Sorry, I stuttered. That you've got to play with recently, man. You know, 'cause I know you get to play with a lot of the guys down there in Stephenville, and you've been touring some. Just who are your favorite people to share a stage with?
Oh man, well I love John Young, and there's a kid in Stephenville. I play with a few people, and there's a couple people really talented. There's Josh that I played with. If he's listening, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Badass. But buddy of mine, Giovanni Yanez, maybe he can get up here, man. I think that kid, he's gonna be pretty good. I think. So,
I'll check him out.
Yeah, you need to look at him and stuff. And I say kid because I'm like, most people don't realize how old I am. I look all right from my age and stuff, but I'm a little bit older than most everybody out there.
Man,
So,
you look like you feel pretty young.
yeah, I feel young and all that stuff too, but depends on I'll see how I feel tomorrow, after if we party it up or something. But but man, well, I played with Dalton. That was kick ass. That was a blast because he's pretty good. He's a real entertainer too.
Yeah, he's got that energy that he brings with him.
And so like I felt like sometimes I do a show like I play a lot with this guy in Fort Worth named Rob Redwine. And he's I think he don't usually come out here, but he's got some real folky kind of stuff, and it's just a lot of fun to play with him because it's nice when you see somebody that's using humor too in their songs, or in like Dalton's case where he's using that energy in between songs with his humor, and so that hits close to me. But it's still fun to do a show where you can be a good transition compared to if you're ever doing song swaps. Like that's usually what I kind of do for the most part.
Right. You need to check out West Texas Live here.
Oh yeah.
It's David Wild. It's this thing he does on Thursday. Well, the radio station here does on Thursdays, and it's 3 hours, and they have 3 or 4 artists go on there, and that's all it is a big song swap, and they do it live over the radio.
That's cool.
It's really cool, man. I think you'd enjoy it quite a bit.
I need to check that out for sure. Yeah, it'd be awesome. What's the number of the station?
105.3.
Okay.
Or the radio station. Or
the Rebel or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that the phone number is easy. It's 806-712-1053.
There you go.
So that's the only way I can remember is because they have that in the end.
Like Savon over here, Rain Man,
I've had more people tell me that this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Like, he drops the book of matches and he's like, well, there's
295.
Yeah, there's 490 in the box. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Because there's 10 on the ground. You know what I mean? There's a box of 500. You know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
that kind of shit. But I don't know. Dalton was saying that the other day too. He's like, I mean, you've got this like Rain Man syndrome thing going on.
Well, I didn't really mean anything weird by it. But
No, I know you didn't. I think it's a funny thing too. It's
weird to be
the
referenced.
little things other people pick up on about you.
Yeah. Well, it's a lost art, like memorizing phone numbers, because it's all on your phone now. It's like spelling, being able to spell.
Yeah, because everybody's got that. I can't spell for shit, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, most people, like the younger the generation, it's just like, man, it'll do it for you. And people talk a lot of shit about, the younger generation always being on their phones and stuff. But I saw somewhere like we read more in a week than people 300 years ago read their entire life.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it's like, bam, it's always there. I mean,
I think at this point it's really a question of what people are reading. It's
the quality
that
versus
makes
quantity. Yeah, I get it.
Which really sucks because there's a lot of really, and I'm bad about it too. I get sucked into that clickbait shit. You know what I mean?
It's happened.
But there's so much more educating and more, just usable shit to be read out there.
Yeah.
But we still get stuck on, check out what Kanye really had to say about Beck, And so we wind up reading that shit instead of, top 5 scientific discoveries this week.
We need someone that can do it like I think it's Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, dude.
That dude is kick-ass.
He's a fucking,
So there's people that...
He's my hero.
I like him because, he can do like stuff where it's informative and it's entertaining. And you don't feel like...
He puts it in idiot form. I don't make it not to shut him short.
I don't think enough idiots are watching it though. You know what I mean?
But I mean, if you don't have an extensive scientific background and you don't understand all the terms and things, you can still understand exactly what he's saying, and he puts it in a very in layman's terms, I guess is the best way to put it versus idiot terms.
Okay. But there's still ways. He can incorporate new terms that most people aren't familiar with, or even I'm not sometimes.
And you'll learn it.
And then it's like, okay, this is. Not dry and boring, like the old film strips they show in school or whatever it was, or just straight up reading a textbook out of the book. It's like, God dang, man, this is like hard to get through. But so okay, that's the scientific side. We got a guy like that. So what other subjects can we go into? Where it's like informative, entertaining, and at the same time. So. Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there for English and literature, you know, but it just hadn't broke yet.
Do you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast at all?
I've listened to it a few times. I'm not a big UFC MMA guy, and so like a lot of times I've listened to it a few times just because it's kind of cool. Like, oh, how are you cutting the weight? And like I kind of want to know.
Well,
more.
he does. It's not mostly UFC fighters.
Oh, really?
That he has on there. Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson has been on there.
Oh, really? He's on there. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he had that show on Sci-Fi. It was at Joe Rogan Questions Everything.
Okay.
And I mean, he went out with the Bigfoot hunter people that are on Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Like he went out on a trek with them, and you know, UFO sightings and shit like that. So he's got knowledge in all these things, and he's a very, I don't know, chemically enlightened person.
Okay. Cool.
But he's very, I mean, he's just inquisitive on everything.
Sure.
Everything has to work, and it has to work for a reason, and how does it work? And so he has experts in all sorts of cool shit come in.
Yeah.
You know, Sturgill Simpson was on there the other day.
Sweet.
Shooter Jennings has been on there. Paul Stanley from Kiss.
Wow.
Like just all sorts.
I need to check it out. I mean,
he's I don't know. He has the fan basis just being Joe Rogan that he could pretty much have whoever he wants on there, and somebody's gonna like his guest and have something good to say.
Yeah.
So, but he's got all sorts of different, you know,
well,
guests,
there's so much
cool
information out there, you know, and sometimes it's the avenue of finding it, you know, or having the time, you know. I mean, there's plenty of times where I'm freaking busy as hell, and just like everybody else, you know, and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So what's been going on?
Working.
What's the dog's name?
Oh, the black one over here that keeps trying to knock the mic stand over. That's Raider.
Raider.
Yeah,
all
that's
right. It's creative out here in Lubbock.
Yeah,
he's black too. Yeah.
I know, right? That's Danny's dog, and then the little one that was scratching on the door a second ago that I'm not letting in because he's gonna try to jump in my lap. That's
dog.
Woody.
Woody. All right.
And he's a badass. Or Woodrow.
Woodrow.
Call him Woody for sure.
It's a schnauzer, right? Yeah. I used to have. We had a lot of dogs growing up because like my grandparents are very compassionate with their. And my sister's taken the same role. She's always had an animal. Oh my God! So, yeah. But so we were given like dogs, and we had two schnauzers at one point that were Lynn and Cece, and they were brother and sister. But I remember learning like that what sex was because I was like 8 or 9, and they were out there like humping, and I didn't really think anything about it until my parents like, oh my God, started freaking out.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
But I remember Cece threw up a can of dog food, and it was the weirdest thing because it looked exactly like it came out of the can. Like it was all one shape, and it had the ridges from the can and everything.
That's impressive.
It was really impressive. I think that's why it threw it up. It swallowed it whole like a freaking thing of flan or custard or something, you know, and then like bleh, right back out.
Jeez.
Sorry, we're talking about dog puke on your podcast.
I actually had somebody puke in my car a couple of days ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was a friend of mine's birthday. I'm not going to disclose who she is because she's also in the scene, and so
cool.
I'm sure she wouldn't want me to actually tell this story, but I'm going to. It was her birthday, and we had a fantastic time. It was her first time to ever go to the Blue Light.
Cool.
So Blue Light always wins. If you don't know that, you will soon.
Heard so much, yeah.
But especially on your birthday. And if it's your first time ever going to Blue Light on your birthday,
oh God, yeah,
yeah. So, but no, she just puked a little bit on the inside of my door. I mean, I just wiped it down. It wasn't. Dalton's done more damage in my car than she has, so it's no big deal at all. But it was, you know, a puke story.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure we could, you know, spin weaves with the freaking puke stories. But,
no joke.
I'll just tell one.
Okay.
Even though I did tell one about the dog, but that didn't count. The reason I'm telling this one is because it's the first time I ever got drunk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so this is crazy. Okay, so I was at a buddy's house. It was, you know, high school. You're not supposed to drink in high school, whatever.
Right.
But we were smart, and we took our keys from each other and hid them. And older brother brought over, it wasn't my older brother, it was a buddy of mine, brought over the vodka. And so we're trying to make screwdrivers. We never made them before, so they're like terrible. And so we're just like, why don't we just freaking drink this straight? So we're drinking vodka straight. And it's supposed to be like the scentless alcohol, right?
Yeah, no, it has if anything has a taste, it has a smell.
Wait, it was cheap too, so you know it's like freaking. It was like I think it was McCormick's or something. You know, oh my God, it's terrible. And so we drank it all, and we decided to go play basketball in the backyard. They have no concrete and no like, it's all like tall grass. We're bouncing the basketball and like laughing, and then a ball hits me in the head, and I fall down, and the grass is so cool. I just go ahead and just lay there, pass out.
Right.
And all of a sudden I wake up, and I gotta take a shit. I don't know why. It just hit me. I gotta go.
Nature calls, man.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh man, and then I realized I'm like wasted because I stand up like, and I've got ants all over me, dude. I fell asleep in an ant, but I'm slapping them off my arm. It looked like I shot up drugs the next day, like I couldn't hit a vein or something, because they were like
just ant
spots
bites all over
me.
you.
Yeah, and I'm like I go to the door, the back door. I'm like, let me in the house, man. Let me in the house. And nobody's letting me in. Nobody's answering. They're all passed out. And like, so it's a screen door, and I punched through the screen, and I'm not a vicious wild drunk
but
like that.
When you're not gonna put it outside if you have
in
to.
my pants. I mean, come on, I'm maybe wasted, but I've got some dignity to me. So I punched through.
Man.
I punched through, and I realized I feel the spring. I've been trying to open the damn door on the wrong side. Yeah, so I just reach over. There's a handle. It comes right open. I'm like, oh man, I got to pay for that. And I go into the bathroom, and I'm so wasted that I'm pulling down my pants. I fall down and I shit on the floor in the bathroom. Yeah, luckily it wasn't a lot, and it was pretty healthy. Yeah. So I was like, man, this is terrible. I gotta clean up this mess. I don't want anybody to see this, and yet I'm telling this story on the internet. Awesome. No, but so when I'm cleaning it up, man, it totally makes me gag, and I puke everywhere, all in the bathroom. Then I couldn't hit the toilet. I don't know what to do with, and so I didn't know how to clean it up. I didn't want to use their towels and ruin them. So I found some paper towels and some Arm & Hammer baking powder, and I just dusted the whole freaking bathroom with that crap.
Everything down.
Yeah, and it was still a major mess the next morning.
I bet.
It was awful, but
we've all had a story like that.
Well, that was my first
I've never
time.
pooped on a floor, but I've made a mess in somebody's house and tried to pull it off.
You don't want to go there, yeah.
No, I don't think I want to join that club. I mean, it's cool to know y'all exist.
Yeah, we got a support group online somewhere. Yeah.
Nice, man. I bet the forum's very interesting. Nutty.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty shitty, really. There it went. Yeah, I got
There's
it.
the poop pun.
Anyway.
But, okay, so you've got the skeleton that rides shotgun with you? What's his name again?
Brazos Slim.
Brazos Slim.
Yeah.
Has he ever helped you out in a carpool situation?
Yeah, I've been in the HOV lane a few times,
Have you ever been busted with having a skeleton riding shotgun with you?
Well, I forget that I have him sometimes when I'm going to do a show, and so I'll pull up in freaking HEB parking lot or something, and people are looking at me like I'm freaking crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, I got like a skeleton with a seatbelt on in here. And so. But dude, okay, so last week I did a private show, kick-ass party out in a barn out at this hunting ranch and stuff, and I mean, I'm talking, we stayed up till 6 a.m, and they had a stage in the barn, and it was huge. They had a flag that was from a bank, and it was like the size of half of a football field.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was kick-ass. So we play there, and like on and off the stage. Well, I had my skeleton, and people were taking pictures and stuff, and then late night rolls on, and we had some Metallica playing, so I started making it look like Brazos was fucking tearing up some drums.
Right.
And so I thought it looked cool, but like I freaking broke his shoulder, so I got to fix that here in a little bit, but I'll stop by Lowe's or something. But dude, it's weird because you got the name Buck Fuffalo, so it's kind of like, people are wanting to, like just the name alone sometimes.
How did that happen?
Well, I got, pretty long hair, and but I'm still pretty redneck, so I would go and like haul hay, and one of my buddies, he died in a car accident, and man, college was freaking nuts, man. So anyway, Lee Wayne, he used to say, man, you're proof that Indians fuck buffalo. And so like I was cool because I would haul hay with them or whatever it was, and still do like, redneck shit, that's fun. Shoot guns, man. I could shoot the hell out of some guns.
Hell yeah.
And
proof that Indians fuck buffalo.
Yeah, so I told that story one time in a bar, and there was a guy in a wheelchair. He asked, and I told, and he didn't like my answer, and he wheeled off away, and it was kind of like sad, and he looked like Phil Collins, so it really had an effect on me. But anyway, so how the hell did I get into that shit? I was telling something, but lost my train.
Broke Brazos Slim shoulder.
Yeah, so
sorry, I
that's
got you
okay.
off on
Yeah,
that side
that's
tangent.
all right.
My bad.
So I'm freaking tearing it up, and I guess because it's cool, I've had my shirt stolen after shows. If you do a show and then you get invited to a party, you get wasted at a party.
Sometimes you lose your shirt.
Yeah, I'm not the shirt I was wearing. Like I was selling my merch.
Oh, okay.
And I had like half of my shirt's fucking stolen. So I was like, part of me is like, damn, that's money gone. My koozies, you know, some are gone. And so I'm like, but then I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, I guess my shit's cool enough to be stolen. But Brad's a Slim's head's gone. Well, I had some friends that were out there that live there. They can't find it. Somebody stole it.
So he doesn't have a head either?
I had a skull that I did myself, and so I had to get a second one. Mm-hmm. So he's got a new head, but his shoulders are broke. He's got a new face today. So anyway.
he's going to be all replacement parts soon. Brad's
I know,
Slim
man.
2.0.
Yeah. We'll have to turn him into a robot or something.
We have the technology.
When I was putting him together, I was like, I will rebuild. You know, like
very nice.
Whatever. I don't know. Just mainly, I'm trying to entertain myself, and if I feel like I'm entertained, then it must be working, I guess, for somebody else out there.
Absolutely.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm having a kick-ass time. This podcast has been fun too. So
heck yeah, man.
It's always nice.
And I appreciate what you sent me on my birthday this last year. There's a picture. I think it was on my timeline. So if any of y'all follow me on Facebook, you might have seen it. But
yeah.
Buck sent me a picture on my birthday. It was a bowl of chili, a Lone Star in a can, and he was flipping off the camera. And I said, "Happy birthday, bastard!" And I was like, "Yes,
yeah,
like happy birthday."
You got a custom one. So some of them I got. So many damn birthdays, man. So
man, I don't get to everybody, and it's not that I'm an asshole. I just some days it's like, oh, it's so and so's birthday. Oh, look, a kitten, and then I don't get back to it. And then I might see you later and be like, hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I felt guilty
or something, but
yeah. Well, I wanted to send you something authentic, So
no, well, it was greatly appreciated, man. I definitely enjoyed it.
I try.
It was a hell of a time. So, what all other dates do you have coming up here pretty quick?
Well, so I'm playing, which I'm sure this isn't going to get on this quickly tonight, but so I get to play in Amarillo for the first time today. I don't know. Okay, it's called I Don't Know Bar and Grill.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it. I haven't been there.
Well, the booker called me and I was like, "What's this place called?" She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I need to know what it's called so I can promote it."
It's called.
She's like, "I don't know." I'm like, was like who's on first kind of deal or some shit. Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty clever. If you're wasted there and your wife's like, "Hey, where are you?" I don't know. So you're not.
Where
do you
want to eat tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm getting to play there. Sounds cool. I'm doing an unofficial South by Southwest show. So it's like the official venue is on. Mm-hmm. It's called Sledgehammers on 6th, and it's on 6th Street in Austin. And they're an official venue for South by Southwest, but the day before they're kicking it off, and so that's pretty cool for me. I don't know.
What day is that?
It's St. Patty's Day, so it's going to be freaking intense.
I was at Melody Mountain at T-Birds for St. Patty's Day this last year.
Yeah.
I drank way too much green beer.
Oh yeah. I don't handle green beer very well either. I don't know about you, but
there's something about puking green later. Or having like that green beer residue on your tongue crap the next morning when you go to brush your teeth. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm red green colorblind, so like it's got to be. I don't know sometimes what's green and what's red, and sometimes purple. So like I could be throwing up something green and not have any idea. Like the other day after we did our show, my eyes were freaking like apparently like super. Like I had them, I guess they were bloodshot a little bit, and they were green, and I looked like the Hulk apparently. But I mean, like it's kind of weird. My eyes are green, but I can't even hardly tell sometimes. Like I swear they change colors, but I don't know.
I didn't know you were colorblind.
Yeah, it's like a weird straight. So of course I saw the dress the wrong color, whatever it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
It's so stupid, right? I mean, come on,
man. There's so much more.
And here we are talking about
in that dress. I agree. But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That dress thing is weird. I saw some jackass got a tattoo. Did you see that?
No, come on. I mean,
yeah,
really, forever.
It looked like it was on the back of his knee too, or something. It was just like a close up shot.
Yeah.
You could definitely see the hair shaved around it. So I couldn't tell if it was like a leg or an arm or.
That's weird.
It looked like it was at a crease.
There's a transvestite wearing a dress or something.
What color's the dress? I don't know.
Oh my god, yeah, that's ridiculous. Well, you've done something amazing when someone's willing to tattoo. Like if somebody ever has like my logo or your logo, it'd be like, yeah,
dude,
I have
somebody
made
got
it.
my logo tattooed. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know how I'd be able to repay that person. I don't have merch to give them. I mean, I guess I could have them on as a guest. I'd cook them a meal.
No, there you go. Yeah, well, definitely just show their picture on the internet.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. It will. If I can do anything to make it go viral, I will.
I don't think I would like it too much because it would worry me about their obsession. You know what
I mean? I would move very shortly afterwards. But still,
yeah, you definitely need to move. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, unless they were like a fan from like Austin or.
What if it's your mom? You think your mom's gonna get that?
You kidding me?
No tattoos for the mom.
Man, okay. I remember the first time. I remember the first time I told my mom I got a tattoo. I was not living at the house when I got my first tattoo. I wasn't even 18 yet. I had barely, like, it was like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before I was supposed to turn 18.
Oh yeah.
And a buddy of mine, I'd had a real close knit of friends, close knit group of friends growing up, and we were just hanging out, and so we bought each other something for Christmas, and I would have been talking about getting a tattoo for years, and my buddy John was like, "Here, man, look, here's $100 to put towards your tattoo. Sweet. Merry Christmas, whatever. Just the only deal is I've got to be there when you do it." I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem." And so we go and got my tattoo. Okay, actually, I'm going to tell the full story because this is an interesting one. So we go there to get my tattoo, and I get it all drawn up, and the guy's like, "Yeah, man, I can do this, and this is how much it's going to cost." And so we lay down, I lay down, and he gets started, tattooing my ribs up.
Yeah.
And
did your ribs?
That was my first tattoos on my ribs.
It hurt like a mother or what?
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
It was, well, okay, I'm not a badass, I promise, but I was trying to fall asleep, like, towards the end of it. Just because I'd been, and I wasn't there, like, a super amount of time, but I found, like,
once you're in it, you're kind of
I just found, like, a zone, and it was like, okay, I can, and I was starting to fade out towards the end of the tattoo. But between me laying down and towards the end of the tattoo, this chick walks in.
Oh, okay.
Fine, she had, like, auburn, reddish, brown hair, good-looking gal, and she walks in there, and she's like, who's the piercist in here? And this dude speaks up, and she's like, "Do y'all do clit piercings here?"
What?
And the entire tattoo parlor was like,
yes.
Hey. And so we went, and so they start talking about that, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to get it done." Well, my buddy that goes with me, he's a jackass. I love the guy to death, but he was like, "Well, shit, can we watch?"
Did she let you?
Yeah, she let us watch.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was a great time. And so
oh, my God.
we're watching, and I guess you have to put a clamp on first.
Oh yeah,
and then make sure everything's lined up, and then clamp, and then the needle.
Did she get off from getting it put in, or what?
No, they put that clamp on, and she turns into a board, bro. Just straightens up, and that dude's like, "You've got to relax. Like I know it hurts, but you've got to relax." And she like starts to relax a little bit. I don't know if he drove the needle too quick. I don't know if she wasn't relaxed enough. Whatever. Anyway, he puts needle to flesh, and she just melts. She like pours into the floor of the tattoo parlor.
Oh hell!
Nothing has been disconnected yet, and she's unconscious.
Shit. He still got her hooked. Yeah.
There's no time.
Oh my God!
It was like, and she just melted.
That's crazy.
Oh, it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And then I finished my tattoo. But
so what the fuck? I mean,
they woke her.
They rolled
her on her back and got everything out and was waking her up, and she was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" It's like, "You passed out, man. It must have hurt really bad or whatever." And she sat there for about 15-20 minutes and drank some water and came back to life, and somebody came and picked her up. I don't even know who she was. She's the chick whose vagina I watched get pierced. That's the only person I know. But,
oh my God! She there's like a roofie joke in there somewhere that could be made.
There has to be. There that could go so many different ways. Yeah. But I remember after that I'd called my mom and was like, "Hey, I got a tattoo," and she was like, "I can't believe you got a tattoo." And I was a much younger, dumber person then, and so. There was the potential of it to be something stupid and crazy. Yeah. But it wasn't. I mean,
Did it say mom?
No.
No. What is it?
It's the New Mexico symbol, the Zia. Mm-hmm. And it's in the middle of a star, and the star's got wings.
All right.
And so I was originally going to get it on my back, and then I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm going to put something really cool back there.
Yeah.
And I have since then. But I remember calling mom. I was like, "I got a tattoo," and she's like, "What is it?" And so I told her, and she was like, "Whatever." And so then she saw it, and she's like, "It's a little more tasteful than I thought, but I still don't like you having a tattoo." And I've got, including cover-ups, I've got 7 since then.
Oh hell yeah!
But
yeah.
No, she's not impressed by my tattoos, and much less my podcast. So.
Oh really? She'll get there. It's one of those things where. Other people are like, "What the hell is he doing?" Or and then all of a sudden, once it'll happen where you finally get somebody where everybody knows who that is. I think it's be like that, and then, boom, it's like, oh hell yeah, that's cool.
Well,
He's doing that.
I had Shane Smith on the podcast not very long ago, and when that happened, there's a whole. probably had
big following.
Yeah, I probably had 50. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but about 15 extra people liked my page, and that's a lot for me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just gonna build and build and build, and it's
so slowly but surely.
It's just like doing music, man. You come out and okay, like I do shows, and I'm like, man, I tried out a song or two and it didn't work, or I got like doing some of my songs, people will give me free drinks, and I've gotten way too drunk at a show or two, and so I've got to all right, once you start figuring out where you're at, and it gets better and better and better, and I don't know, man, it's just like doing the music thing, and I don't know, maybe it'll do something for you someday. And
Man, I'm hoping so. I did a little financial plan thing and everything, and so if everything goes as planned, it will pay. And then really, all I want this thing to do is pay my rent and put maybe a tank of gas in my car every month, so I can go to a show or interview somebody, in Fort Worth or in Stephenville or in Amarillo, and That'd be able to have some of my expenses covered. And then keep a 9 to 5 to keep my bill and the rest of my bills paid and party on.
Exactly.
But anyway, I hate to cut this short, man. But you've got to get to Amarillo, and I've actually got to go to work. I work nights tonight, so I've got to start getting ready to go to work later. But anyways, man, it's been awesome to have you on the podcast and have you over here at the compound. And
it was a little weird at first, but
it's been a great conversation, man. We
definitely.
We didn't get to talk about very much music stuff, but it's awesome that we got to do this. There's everybody's got a fan that's craving to hear a one-on-one conversation.
Well,
so this is as close as it's going to get.
It's fun for me. I didn't know what the hell we were going to talk about when we went through it, but hey, it happened.
I don't think nobody really does when we start these. It's just kind of like, okay, well, these are kind of some of the questions I'm going to ask and go.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it, I think. But I'm glad I got to come out, and maybe we can do round 2.
Absolutely, man. I'm hoping to have a few repeat offenders on here. So, but anyways, again, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by the Pancake House, which is Lubbock's original pancake house, established in 1961. You can check them out at 510 Avenue Q at the corner of Mac Davis and Avenue Q by the Walmart and the Walgreens down there. Don't forget about the Porky pancakes. You can get bacon and or sausage in your pancake. Ooh. Funfetti pancake, buckwheat pancake, sweet potato pancake,
it's like Forrest Gump up here.
Shrimp steak, shrimp sandwich. But no, it's incredible. Awesome. I'm telling you, man, it's one of the greatest places to eat in Lubbock. It's definitely on my top 5 places I've ever eaten in my entire life, and it's my preferred breakfast place of choice. And the official pancake provider of the Stripes and Strings podcast. But anyway, everybody, again, just want to thank Buck Fuffalo for coming out, and thank you, listeners, for checking it in. Don't forget to like and share everything that we do on social media. Check out Buck at any shows that he's got going on. Where can people catch your music at? Like, where if somebody wants to give you a listen, where can we find you?
I'm on Reverb Nation /Buck Fuffalo. A couple songs on there, but little EPs in the work, so maybe pretty soon.
Right on.
Something out there, yeah.
So and you've got some stuff. You've got the Johnny Cash Christmas on YouTube too. Yeah. I love that. That was cool.
Cool. Well, I was worried I was going to get sued, and some people didn't like it at all, but
I thought it was pretty damn interesting.
Thanks. I mean,
I dig it, man.
I wasn't trying to make money with it, and so put all the claymation and then stole a bunch of clips off the internet. But so like Arnold Schwarzenegger singing during Johnny Cash and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Put down the cookie.
Put down the cookie now. Yeah, it's badass. So
right on. Well, again, y'all check out Buck Fuffalo on you're on Facebook, right?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I'm Snapchatting the whole day, so 24-hour road trip.
I feel you. So y'all make sure to check him out on all his social media outlets. Try to catch him at a live show anytime that y'all's paths may cross.
Yeah.
And man, just don't forget to support live Texas music and tip all your waitresses and bartenders. Thanks, y'all. Have a good week.